Hey guys, how's everyone doing? This is Nick from ForexNoobs.com with the daily analysis. Today is Wednesday, the 24th of July, 2019. Time is 16:59 here in the UK. We're starting a little bit early, about 45 seconds early. But, that's not too bad. Guess it's better than 45 seconds late, isn't it? We don't have much time today, guys. I'm going to be in a real hurry. I had some computer issues this morning, so I was unable to do the webinar. So I tried to fit it in just before my dinner time, which is now. So I've like squeezed this webinar in. I'm going to go through it fast. I know this is the members only webinar, and usually with the members only webinars, we do tend to spend like a good 45 minutes to an hour in the webinar, and we go over several things. But today's one, unfortunately, is going to be fast. Guys, this happens. You know, what can you do? Next week's one will be normal, but yeah, this week members webinar is going to be a bit shorter than usual. So let's jump straight into it. What are we looking at today? Today, in terms of news, we've got RBA Governor Lowe speaking. That's going to be at 4:05 a.m., which is roughly in like 11 hours or so. So let's see what happens with this. It could move the Aussie dollar, of course, but we talked about this one a bit yesterday, and it's probably not going to be that important. It's just a speech at some luncheon or something like that. Blah blah blah. Generally, these speeches are pretty well planned, and they don't move the market that much because they're carefully constructed not to move the market, because they don't want to have that happen. There's no audience questions, so we wouldn't expect any surprises. So I'm not too worried about this one. I think this one's just going to go over and not cause much issues. That being said, it is a speech. I have been wrong about these things before. Do not take my word as gospel. Just be careful trading the Aussie dollar. I'm not expecting much, but we could see some moves. And then tomorrow, well, we'll cover tomorrow's stuff tomorrow, because that's all happening after tomorrow's webinar. So let's hop over to the charts and let's see how things are progressing. So AUDCAD. There was a potential short here yesterday. The short trade triggered on the 12-hour. Anyone jump into this short? I don't think they did. It wasn't posted to the forum anyway. Hey, Michael, Sydney, Alan. Einald? I don't know. I'm just saying Lionel without the L. So I'm just saying Einald. I hope that's right. And Robert. Hey, Robert. AUDCAD is... Oh, I got it right. That's awesome. So bad at reading out names. I got one right for once. Right, so AUDCAD, it's going down. Look, guys, if you're in it, it's going pretty well, so just hold on to it. Few issues with this one that I pointed out yesterday. Not issues, just every trade has some problem areas, let's say. There's a few problem areas with this one. The first problem area is to the left here. This through here, that's a problem area, but it does look like it's getting through that without much issue. It's carving through it right now. It's just made a new low on the 12-hour, so I think you're going to be good. Just hold on to it, and I'll let this one run down. It looks like a pretty good setup. It's moving in your direction, so if you're in it, awesome. EuroJPY, we were waiting for a bounce from the bottom here. I think I shared my entry yesterday, or my potential entry was somewhere up here, if I recall. I think I shared it with you guys. I might have shared it with one of my mentoring students after the webinar, but I think I shared it with you guys. I said I was getting in up here. Obviously never went up to there, so didn't get into that one. GBP CHF, just watching it yesterday, looking at what it was going to do. Nothing happened really. I mean, it did shoot up, but nothing really. GBP AUD, this was more of a big mover. Honestly, I was expecting it to keep dropping down, but it looks like we're seeing a recovery in the pound. This is probably related to the PM. We've got a new Prime Minister. So Might be related to that. I don't know. Just seeing a bit of a recovery in the pound. USDCAD, we were looking at this yesterday for a potential long, but it's just kept falling, so there was nothing there. So basically, let's remove these because all of these are no longer setups. In my opinion, you entered a bit too early. I know a few people entered early on the forum, but yeah, I just was not interested in entering that early. USDCAD, somewhat interesting. Price has hit resistance and it's stalling out pretty heavily, so I'm still looking for a short from this resistance area. The problem right now with this is that upper wick there means our stop loss needs to be quite high. So our risk to reward ratio is not as good as it could have been, but still has some potential. DXY stalling out at resistance, so still a potential short here. Let's see how today's daily candle closes. GBP USD, I was waiting for it to hit support. It never really hit support. It's going back up now. I'm just going to mark this one off because there's nothing that I want to do with this setup. New Zealand USD, I was looking for a potential long, but it just never happened. It kept dropping. So again, I'm just going to remove this one because there's nothing I can do with this setup. Alright, so down to AUDCHF. Let's start looking for some new setups today. There's nothing much on AUDCHF. It's just dropping down, so perhaps on the smaller time frames there is maybe the 4 hour. Right, on the 4 hour, keep an eye out for this, guys. Keep an eye out for... Why can't I place a line? Okay, oh, they just weren't appearing. So weird how TradingView does that sometimes. Right, so keep an eye on this. We could have a range here. I'm not 100% sure it's going to be a range. Of course, you can never really be 100% sure of anything, but it's got a bounce from the top, bounce from the bottom, bounce from the top, and it's heading back towards the bottom. So if it stalls out here, there's potential for a long there. This seems like it's a bit of a higher time frame range. So we're talking 4 hour, 8 hour, 6 hour. So yeah, let's just keep an eye on this. And also keep in mind that ranges, even though I have a solid line, these can be areas, especially something like this where on the 6 hour and the 4 hour, it just happened to close down here. But if you look at the 8 hour, the bodies are further up. So I'm watching this on the 4, 6, 8 hour. I'm looking to see if there's a bounce from here. Generally speaking, it's really tricky entering on those third bounces. You're best off honestly waiting for it to push back up and then enter the short from here. But you know, depends on how you want to handle it. But there is potential there, so I'm going to mark this one. Nah, nothing there, guys. Nothing on AUD New Zealand. AUD USD. There is a trade to the forum posted by, I think the member it's a new member. I think he's called Soccer Naka, if I recall the name. Do check it out. It's quite an interesting setup. It's happening from a minor support resistance area, which is this one. This is a minor support resistance area. It has some bounces in the past, but nothing major. But price is stalling out on this minor support resistance area, which is also a trend line. So it doubles as a trend line. Stalling out here, so the trade is a long one. Now I'm not entering this one. It's just an interesting setup. It's an interesting way to look at the charts. It's an interesting setup. I encourage you to check out the forum thread. I don't have a link to it right now, but just simply go to the forum and look in the trade section for the latest AUD thread or one of. So yeah, check it out. It's an interesting setup that he shared. Oh, actually, I'm confusing things. No, sorry. The setup he shared is in Euro AUD. It's this one that he shared. So look for Euro AUD. I also marked AUD USD because we're seeing something similar on AUD USD. It's a very similar thing that's happening on AUD USD. So that's why I marked it. Anyway, I'm going to mark these red because I want to keep track of them and see how they perform. But see, this is the setup I was confusing it with. We've got this minor support resistance area. It's not a significant support resistance area at all, but it does have some bounces in the past. And prices on this support resistance, on this minor support resistance, which we wouldn't normally take a trade from. And it's also smashing into this resistance, this trend line, which is causing price to reverse. So it's an interesting setup again. Now, look, I'm not trading this. I'm just saying it's an interesting thing to look at. Maybe this could develop into something that we look at more in future. But right now, it's definitely not something I'm personally willing to get into. Euro GBP, this one's dropping down quite nicely from this resistance area. Euro USD is hitting support again. I'm actually interested in what happens when it hits the support area. If price stalls out on the support area, I will be looking for a long. So let's move that to the top of the list. I'm honestly not really comfortable trading GBP right now, just because of this announcement of the new PM, and he's just done a speech, and things are just a bit. It's a bit all over the place, really, guys, when it comes to the UK right now. So I'm a bit apprehensive about entering any trades. There's a long reversal here that's already triggered on the 4-hour/6 hour. It's a bit late to enter, though, from the support area. I can't remember why I marked this. I think it was posted to the forum or something. Yeah, I think this is a trade on the forum. I'm not in on this, though. New Zealand JPY is doing something very similar. USD NOK, this was another trade shared to the forum by Gil. It's dropping down quite fast. So, looks like he's doing well in this one. USD SEK is a really interesting pair that I want to start trading more of. Right, silver has broken up again. Looks like gold is on its way up also. Right, so guys, let's do a summary. What are we looking at today? Today we have a few potentials. We have one open trade, AUDCAD, that I shared yesterday. There's some other open trades, but they're not ones that I shared, so I'm not going to mark them. We have USDCAD stalling out on resistance, so there's potential for a short here. We have DXY stalling out on resistance, so there's potential for a short here. We have Euro USD approaching the support area, not quite stalling out on it, but it's getting close to it. So there's potential for a long trade here. We just got to keep an eye on this one. Then we got AUDCHF, which might be falling into a range here. What I want to see personally is I want to see it hit the bottom of this range and push up back to the top. I'm not going to trade if it hits just the bottom. That's, you know, not exactly, it's a bit too risky for me, essentially. But yeah, other than that, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up. Sorry, but I can't do a Q&A today. I really got to go. I squeezed this webinar in last minute just because I wanted to get one today, despite the PC issues I had this morning, or last night rather, which leaked through to this morning. As soon as my PC got back up and running, I thought, okay, going to do a webinar, but I just don't have a lot of time. So I'm sorry about that, but I'm going to wrap this one up. I'm glad I was able to do the webinar regardless, even though it's a bit shorter than normal. So just once again, USDCAD potential short from resistance, DXY potential short from resistance, Euro USD falling into support, so I'm looking for a potential long there. I'm willing to trade this one on the lower time frames too, so let's just see what happens when it falls into that support area. And AUDCHF, let's see if it stops at this support area and pushes back up. So it's not much today, not a very busy day, but we do have some things happening. So yeah, thank you guys for attending, and I'll see you for tomorrow's webinar at 10 a.m. And hopefully we have a little bit more going on. Sorry, at 11 a.m. it is, my bad. Hopefully we have a little bit more going on tomorrow. So yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Thanks and bye.